Hey everyone, Ash here for the Triple S League with some Rage 2 content. As promised, I've been neck deep in this game for the past couple of days, and I'm actually having a really good time with it. I'm working on a full review. I'm not 100% sure if I'm going to put the full review out or not. I am sort of up in the air about that. I'm wondering if it would be better to just focus my time on doing some guides. Let me know what you think in the comments below. But I definitely wanted to give you at least a review in progress, and I wanted to focus specifically on the combat and the gunplay, the action side of this game, because if you're going to play Rage 2, this is the reason you're going to play it. This is not a game that you're going in for deep RPG mechanics. It's not a game that you're going to for a deep story. Not that the story is bad, but it's not going to be winning any Pulitzers. It justifies the game's existence, let's put it that way. It gives you reasons for going around and doing all of the things that you're doing. The characters actually are really well written and really entertaining. So that's another very positive thing I will say about this game. But none of that is the reason that you're going to stick around and play this game. I'm telling you right now, the reason to play this game and stick with this game is the sweet combat, the sweet guns, and the sweet abilities that you pick up as you progress through the game. Everything else is kind of secondary. Again, not that everything else in the game is bad or anything, but if the combat mechanics weren't what they are, I don't think this game would be much to write home about. I mean, it doesn't have the lore depth of, say, a Fallout. It doesn't have the emotional depth of a game like Metro Exodus. It would be a middle-of-the-road, open-world shooter with a mediocre story, and that's about all there would be to say about it. There are things to appreciate about this game beyond just the combat, but those things on their own, I would say, aren't enough to make a fantastic game. And that includes things like I mentioned, the character writing is quite good. The characters they're really over the top and entertaining. That's the kind of game it is, very over the top. And so the characters fit that motif really well. Also, I think the open world is very well designed. It's perfectly seamless. There are no loading zones. As a matter of fact, if you're in a building or in an underground cavern, there's still stuff going on outside, around you, or above you. And it's mostly combat, of course. It's mostly factions shooting at each other. But it gives this feeling that this world is alive, although there are some parts of the map where I felt it was kind of bland. And the one thing I noticed is there really aren't any environmental hazards. That's one notable thing I thought was missing. Like, there's no wild animals, there's no forces of nature to contend with, not that I've come across anyway. And I thought that was something that, if they had added something like that in, that could have fleshed out the world a lot more. But in general, that the world is perfectly seamless, that you can drive around with it in vehicles, and you can even get a flying vehicle to just directly go from point A to point B. It works quite well. But anyway, getting back to the main point of this, which is the combat, I think one of the reasons it works so well is that it seems like the developers went out of their way to make sure that you, the player, have an absolutely smooth experience in every aspect of the game. Every movement, every action, whether it is reloading, switching weapons, running, dashing, climbing ladders, sliding down ladders, every action is really well designed, really well optimized. Nothing feels clunky or janky, and there's no waiting around in terms of the action and the combat. Now, after the combat, when you're running around the area you've just cleared out and are looking for the resources that are hiding there, that can feel a little tedious at times. It can feel like a bit of a grind, but as for the combat itself, there's none of that. Now, one of the interesting things about Rage 2 is that you don't just pick up and start using the weapons that your enemies drop. You, as the player, have a special class of weapon that only you can use because of reasons that are associated with who your character is. Also, you have a set of abilities that are very useful in combat that you pick up as you progress through the game. Now, in order to obtain these, you have to make a point of traveling to various points on the map and finding these things called arcs, and inside each one is a weapon or a new ability that you're then enabled to use. So you kind of have to go on a mission to find the next ability or the next weapon, and that really makes the weapons themselves feel like a reward, you know? You grab this awesome shotgun, it's not just because some random mob dropped it. No, you went out, you fought about 22 enemies in the location around the arc, and once you cleared those out, the arc opened for you, and you really earned this shotgun. It's a reward for, you know, your success in combat. I don't know about you, but I really like that. I like that aspect of having to find where it is and then go get it. And you'll encounter a lot of things along the way, and you can decide to deal with them now or deal with them later. But you really have a choice. You know, do you want to focus on the main quest and just blast through that as fast as you can? Or are you going to take your time and focus on leveling up and equipping your character? And I don't know, for me, that's the most interesting part of the game. I've heard some complaints that the main quest line is too short, and that very well may be true. I'm not all the way through it yet, so I can't really comment about whether or not it feels too short or not. But a lot of it's going to depend on how much side stuff you do and, how actively you go and seek out those arcs. Now, another complaint I've heard, which is absolutely 100% valid as well, is that the game is a little grindy and a little bit repetitive. Most of your quests are go here, kill stuff, grab the resources, and then move on to the next thing. There's some variations on it, like go destroy 7 fuel tanks over there, that kind of a thing. But that's a valid complaint, and if you don't like that kind of a grind, then maybe don't pick this one up. But I will point out again that the combat is the point of this game, and it's experiencing that combat in a variety of different scenarios and settings, a variety of different locations with various obstacles and types of buildings and all that kind of a thing. That's where the variety comes from. Plus, then you layer on top of that the gradual acquisition of weapons and abilities, and in different areas you do have different types of enemies. Yes, I'll fully admit, it's not as deep as a lot of games in terms of the variation in the gameplay. You want a game that has tons of variety and that doesn't feel like so much of a grind, I'd recommend checking out Sekiro: Shadows Die Twice, if you can stomach the difficulty of it, that is. But if what you want to do is take on 20, 30 punk-haired raiders all at the same time, whacking grenades at you with baseball bats while you run in there with your awesome weapons and crap is blowing up all around you, while you send them flying with your awesome ground-pounding fist ability, then Rage 2 is the game for you. Think Mass Effect-style technology mixed with the gunplay from Doom 2016, mixed with the movement mechanics from Dishonored and Dishonored 2. That's a brief approximation of how I would describe the experience of the gameplay in Rage 2. It's also very funny. I've laughed out loud multiple times. It doesn't take itself too seriously, so yeah, you've got to know what you're getting into when you're playing a game, and that's why I like doing these reviews. I really want to paint an accurate picture of what you're getting into. So with Rage 2, you're not getting into anything deep and serious. It's not hokey by any stretch, but it definitely doesn't take itself too seriously. You have to suspend disbelief. But like I said, the world is quite well designed. You're not going to get the depth of Fallout 4 in terms of the lore and the factions and the backstory and all of that, but you are going to get a really fun, action-packed experience with no loading zones, plus vehicles. Alright, so I'm going to leave it there. Hope you found this helpful and informative. Like I said, I am planning a full review, but I'm wondering if I even need to now after putting this video out. I think I've hit on all the main points. Anyway, please slam that like button and the subscribe button if you're new to the channel, and let me know in the comments what else you'd like to see as far as Rage 2 content. I've got some guides planned, possibly some other stuff as well. And right now, I'm just going to leave you with some more of the awesome combat moments that I recorded during my dozen hours playing this game. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon.
Like fish in a barrel. Woo.
How you getting?
Here it is. Oh, suckers, let's kill him.
Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like, sub, and hit that notification bell, and then check out some of these other videos. Find the link to our Discord server and other important stuff in the description below.